In a grand mansion on the hills, where every chandelier sparkled like pride itself, lived a young billionaire named Adrian Thornton, a man whose wealth could move mountains but whose heart was terrified of making the wrong choice when it came to love, because he knew that money attracted more masks than people. For 2 years, he had been with Vanessa, a glamorous, sophisticated woman adored by high society, stunning in every dress, perfect at every party, and always surrounded by people praising her elegance. Everyone expected a proposal soon. But there was a secret part of Adrian's life Vanessa knew nothing about. His mother, Eleanor Thornton, once a respected businesswoman, now suffering severe health complications, leaving her partially dependent on others for care. She lived quietly in a private wing of the mansion, looked after by a humble young maid named Clara, a girl with a soft voice, a determined mind, and a heart so kind that even pain couldn't harden it. Adrian had purposely kept his mother's condition hidden from Vanessa, afraid that revealing an inconvenient truth would peel off the mask she wore. The engagement ring waited in his pocket, yet doubts strangled him every night. So he formed a silent plan. He would hide in the shadows, not as a billionaire but as a quiet observer, and discover who Vanessa truly was when no status or spotlight watched her. On the day Vanessa agreed to move into the mansion, she walked in with suitcases and superiority, heels tapping the marble floor like she owned every inch. When introduced to Eleanor, the woman whose fortune made Vanessa's dreams possible, she was polite but noticeably distant, faking a smile that didn't reach her eyes. But when Adrian stepped away for a sudden business trip, telling Vanessa that his assistant would manage things while he was gone, something inside her shifted, politeness turned to irritation, irritation to impatience. Adrian hadn't left the country. He hid in a private surveillance room near his mother's wing, watching screens that showed every hallway, every corner, and especially the room where his mother rested. He hoped Vanessa would pass the test and his doubts would die. Instead, he watched the truth surface like poison. It began subtly, Vanessa wrinkling her nose when Eleanor coughed, avoiding touching her wheelchair, complaining about sick smells, and rolling her eyes when she thought no one saw. Clara, on the other hand, never left Eleanor's side, adjusting pillows, feeding soup, brushing her silver hair, talking to her about flowers, sunrises, and angels. Eleanor loved Clara as if she were her own daughter. One evening, Clara prepared Eleanor's medicine when Vanessa stormed in, complaining that dinner was late and she was starving. Clara respectfully asked for a moment. Eleanor's health came first. But Vanessa's ego couldn't handle waiting. "I am not here to serve the maid's schedule," she snapped, slamming a glass on the table so hard that it cracked. Eleanor flinched. Clara placed a protective hand on her shoulder. Vanessa's glare turned icy. "Don't touch her like your family," she hissed. "You are a servant. Know your place." Adrian clenched his fists in the dark room, his jaw rigid with anger. He forced himself to swallow because the test wasn't over. Clara remained calm, but her voice carried the courage Vanessa lacked. "Mrs. Thornton's life comes first. Respect is a place we all deserve." Vanessa scoffed and pushed Clara aside, lightly, but enough to show disregard. Eleanor breathed heavier, distressed. Clara quickly comforted her while Vanessa muttered insults under her breath. When Vanessa left, Eleanor whispered to Clara, "My son thinks she loves him. But love doesn't shout at the weak." Clara smiled sadly, hiding her own feelings she buried deep because the gap between a maid and a billionaire was larger than oceans. That night, Adrian met Clara secretly in the corridor, thanking her for taking care of his mother. Clara bowed slightly, saying she was only doing her duty. But Adrian saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the kind that came from fighting battles with kindness. "Don't let her break your spirit," he said softly. Clara only smiled, a smile braver than warriors. The next morning, Eleanor's condition worsened. Her body trembled, and she struggled to breathe. Clara rushed to get her medication while Vanessa barged in, dressed for a party, angry again. "I need you to zip my dress. I'm already late. Hurry up." Clara pleaded, "Please wait, your future mother-in-law needs help right now." Vanessa's voice grew louder, "She is old and useless anyway. Help me." Adrian's heart nearly burst with rage watching this unfold, but he forced himself to stay hidden because sometimes a mask must fully fall before consequences arrive. Vanessa shoved Eleanor's wheelchair aside, causing Eleanor to gasp in pain. Clara rushed to steady her, glaring at Vanessa now, truly angry. "You cannot treat her like this," Clara snapped with a courage burning like fire. "You cannot treat anyone like this." Vanessa leaned close with venom dripping from every word. "Shut up, you worthless maid. People like you don't get to talk back." Those words echoed through the mansion like a curse. Clara trembled, not with fear but with heartbreak. Vanessa stormed out, slamming the door, leaving devastation behind. Adrian wiped tears he couldn't hold, not of sadness, but betrayal. He had loved the wrong person. His mother had seen the truth long before he did. But as he prepared to confront Vanessa and expose her cruelty, something terrifying happened. Eleanor collapsed, her breathing stopping for a moment too long. Clara screamed for help, shaking, begging the universe to return life into the woman who had shown her kindness. Adrian rushed in, breaking his silence, revealing his presence, calling emergency services while holding his mother's hand, and in the middle of all the chaos, Vanessa returned, shocked to see him, suddenly pretending concern, pretending love, pretending care. But the mask was gone, and Adrian was done pretending too. Standing there in that room filled with fear and truth, Adrian realized that this was more than a test, this was a revelation. And the maid had just done the impossible. To be continued, but before we move ahead to the twist that will shock you, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss chapter 2.